Jalen Hurts, I think it was after the second touchdown pass. That was to Devontae Smith, the one I broke down yesterday, talking about the safety coming over the top. Didn't give that over-the-top safety help as much as he would have liked to. And Jalen Hurts sitting there on the sidelines. And A.J. Brown, and I think it's Zach Pascal, are sitting there on the sideline. And they're hamming it up. They're having a great time. They're joking. You see A.J. Brown with his hands all over the place. He's talking with his hands. It's beautiful. He's having a great time. And I'm not knocking him, people, for what that watch the show. I'm not knocking him for talking with his hands. I certainly do enough of it. But the point is, Jalen Hurts is sitting right there next to these guys. Stone-faced. You're not seeing him goofing off. You're looking at him, you're like, is he even having fun? The Eagles are playing great so far to start out this game. This is amazing. He played great. Long drive to start the game. Second drive, long drive. Even the third drive. What was it? One play, touchdown, done. And Jalen Hurts sitting there stone-faced on that play, or rather, on the sidelines. So Dave Zingaro asked an interesting question, and because you think about it like this too, I don't think that Jalen Hurts is emotionless by any means. I think he shows emotion while he's playing the game. Sidelines, not that much. I remember last year he had, I forget the fraternity, but the tongue out thing that he did last year, right? I'm not going to do it for you. The tongue out thing he did last year. He does have fun while he plays. You can see emotion from him while he plays. Scores a touchdown, hits the gritty, whatever he might be doing. Loves that stuff. But Nick Sirianni seems to always be high-strung. Always seems to be very passionate. And you do see the up and down with Jalen Hurts. You kind of only really see the up with Nick Sirianni. So he gets asked about that. I started thinking about that, actually, when that clip was shown on the TV broadcast of Jalen Hurts just sitting there. It not really looking like he was having a great time, despite the Eagles doing pretty well to start things off. So Nick Sirianni did get asked about that, and here's what Nick Sirianni had to say about his quarterback and his quarterback's emotion versus his own always high-strung emotion.
Yeah, we got to balance each other out somehow, right? Me and him. No, he's definitely on to the next play. Jalen, but we know that maybe in that moment Jalen wasn't celebrating. But I've seen some pretty good gritties that he's done. He had a good dance last year after Atlanta. He does the thing that my son likes to do after he makes a play like this, and my son says, "Hey, I look like Jalen right here." So let's not make him out like he's not making any celebrations. Maybe in that particular case he wasn't, but he's got some good ones, and I know that because I see my son try to reenact those if he ever makes a play in one of his games.
Anytime he talks about his son imitating Jalen Hurts in any way, I find it hilarious. Anytime he talks about his son playing football, and when he doesn't play football, I find it great. But I do find them a good balance. They know when to be emotional. It's just that for Nick Sirianni, it seems that it's always time to be emotional. When it comes to Jalen Hurts, I think he's really methodical. I think he's very calculating. I think he celebrates in the moment, as he should, and then he's on to the next thing. And this is why I'm so invested, and this is why as a city I think we're so invested in press conferences, more so than many other cities, most other cities, I'll say. But we actually want that view. We want that window into the mindset of an athlete or coach. And I think Jalen Hurts is exactly as you would think he is based on just watching him play and listening to him. When he's in the press conference, he's not celebrating. If it's a huge win, he just becomes the first quarterback ever with back-to-back 10 rushing touchdown seasons. In the press conference, whatever. In the locker room, he'll have fun. And then he goes to our press conference, business. Scores the touchdown, goes to the sideline, stone face. Going through the surface, going through the tablet, going through the plays, looking at the coverages, seeing what the defense is giving him. Pretty interesting. And then we also talk about this. We mentioned this yesterday, but speaking of looking at the film, speaking of looking at the pictures, speaking of looking at the surface, the tablet, whatever, Jalen Hurts had a pre-snap read that was the touchdown to Devontae Smith, and that's how he scored that touchdown. That's how they got into that formation. That's how they called that play because of Jalen Hurts' homework, because he's so calculating on the sideline. I think it's safe to say that, 12-1 and a quarterback playing the way that Jalen Hurts is playing, it makes you feel good. It makes it kind of easy to root for him. But the fact that the work is still very much there, the fact that the work ethic is still very much there, and he's got the right approach to the game that you want in every quarterback across the league, except for the one you're playing, of course. He's got that right mentality, right mindset to know I always got to be working. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the spoils of the hard work you just put in. Go ahead and hit that gritty, son. And then on the sideline, start flipping through the pages, start going through the surface, start going through the tablet, start going through the coverages. So the next time you're at the line of scrimmage, the next time you have that crucial point in a play where you recognize something and you see that can be exploited, you think Smitty can break it down the sideline and beat their safety who's coming over the top, go for it. And that's exactly what happened in that game. So calculating would be a good way, I think, to describe Jalen Hurts in the best way possible. Looking what's out there, exploit it.